Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about Lofoten Island mistakes. So the first mistake is that the weather is very unpredictable in Lofoten, and you can plan your time so that you only have a few days there, and you may get fogged in or rained in on those days and not actually get to see what you wanted to see.
Yeah, not just that, but also having the appropriate gear because it could be cold, it could be raining, it could be both, all kinds of stuff. So just make sure you have the right gear with you to protect you from all of those different things that can occur when you're in the Lofoten Islands, Norway.
Another mistake is to underestimate the amount of people that are going to be there. You're going to be surrounded by people, especially if you're in the high time, not so much in the winter.
Right.
But there will be tour buses. You'd be surprised how many tour buses they can fit on those tiny roads, and there will be a lot of people.
At some of the, the more popular stops in Lofoten, you'll see, you'll have to wait sometimes in a line to try to get to the front to take a picture.
The next mistake would be not renting a car. I really don't know how you would do Lofoten without a car. I guess you could try public transportation or something like that, but if you don't have a car, you're not going to be able to see what you want to see when you want to see it. And in Lofoten, it's all about getting there at the sunset or sunrise or whatever it is you're looking to do.
Yeah, and driving, keeping in mind that driving can be tricky there. Like you mentioned, the roads can be narrow, sometimes just single track roads, and tunnels, lots and lots of tunnels.
Single track bridges.
Single track bridges, really lots of tricky driving. It is completely doable, but just keeping that in mind. One thing also to keep in mind, which we fell victim to, is the speed trap cameras. So watch out for those. Of course, the locals know where they start and when they stop, and just like a lot of European countries, you see those and you got to slow down because they will zap you and they will send you a ticket, which they did.
Next thing would be to underestimate the cost of food in Norway in general, but especially in Lofoten, and the availability of food. It is expensive, and sometimes the only place you'll be able to eat may be a gas station, and you're still going to pay $30 US for two people.
Yes.
For like a hot dog, fries, and a Coke. So whenever you can, pack a lunch because that food is going to get you otherwise.
Yeah, and you will see a lot of grocery stores in the little towns. Just pop into one of those, grab some stuff to make some sandwiches, some bags or containers that you can store your sandwiches in, and you'll really be good to go. It's easy to just, be able to, that way you can eat on the go because, like I said, it is challenging to find food. When you do, it's likely going to be a gas station or it's going to be closed by the time you finally get to it.
Another mistake people make is not coming prepared with the right photography equipment, because it is one of the most beautiful places you'll go to, and if you leave there without the pictures you wanted, you'll be disappointed. So my recommendations as a photographer are: you need to bring a tripod, first of all. If you don't have a tripod, bring a gorilla pod that you can put on a fence post or a railing. There are a lot of railings at places or rocks that you could set a gorilla pod on, so bring that. Make sure you bring a wide angle lens, which is going to be perfect for Lofoten because there's a lot of wide open spaces. But the main reason you're going to need that tripod is to catch the northern lights. You can't really get that shot handheld. You're going to need a tripod, and make sure you're out there at night trying to do that, and it's going to be a lot of fun for you. The other thing I would recommend is if you have a drone, bring that also. It's a great country and great area of the country to drone in.
Definitely. And you were speaking of the northern lights. One of the mistakes people make is thinking they are definitely going to see the northern lights in Norway, and that is not always the case because of what we mentioned earlier, the weather being unpredictable. That's going to bring in rain and clouds, and that's of course going to cover up the northern lights. So just keeping in mind that you're not always going to see them. We saw them which was absolutely incredible. But know that we talked to a lot of people. You know, it was their second, third time there when they finally got to see them. So you're not always going to get to see them just because you go to Norway and you're in the Arctic Circle.
Yeah, Lofoten can be tricky. So if you have a car and you download some of the apps that help you, you may need to move from spot to spot to get under cloud cover. But it is worth it. The great thing about Lofoten is there's a lot of beaches that you can kind of plunk down on and wait for the lights to appear. And if they're not at one, they may be at another one. So you can drive around and it's not that far away to get to. So try that to see the northern lights.
One thing that Lofoten is good for is if you love outdoor adventures, Lofoten is definitely the place to go. But a mistake people make is not accounting for the weather. Again, the changes come pretty quickly. If it starts raining, it's going to be really slippery. If you're there in the wintertime, it's going to be slippery. So keep that in mind as you're planning your hikes and things like that when you're there.
Yeah, another mistake people make, in our opinion, is not picking a central location. Unless you're there on a specific photography tour. There are a few cities in the southern Lofoten Islands that we did visit, and they are beautiful. They're the most popular to see, but there's very little there outside of photography. Yeah. So if you are, trying to get down and do those and spend every moment of the day doing photography, head to the southern area of the Lofoten Islands. But if you want to have grocery stores available, have other things to do, more beaches, more hikes you can do, then maybe stay somewhere in the middle of the Lofoten Islands where there is a more populated area.
Yeah, definitely. Once you get out into those areas, it's a lot hard. It takes a lot longer to get to the other parts of the islands, and it's a lot harder to have access to other things.
And they're not bad as day trips. If you just want to drive to the south, it takes maybe an hour to get there and an hour back.
Bad.
Not bad as a day trip.
Yeah. The other one is a big mistake is over planning things to do, and especially over planning the hikes that you're able to do.
Yeah. The hikes in Lofoten and Norway are, when they say moderate or easy to moderate, that's not by U.S. standards, that's by Norwegian standards, and they are better hikers than most of us in the U.S. So they're going to be challenging. They were challenging for us. They're all very doable, but you may be thinking in your head, we're going to do hikes 4 days in a row, and in reality, you may want to take a day off after every hike. You may be tired, they may be crowded, and you may not get to do it again because of the weather. So don't go in saying we're going to do 5 big hikes in 5 days. The likelihood of you pulling that off is pretty low. Go in saying we're going to pick our 2 best hikes and hope to get them done in 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, that definitely makes a lot more sense. So these are kind of our tips and mistakes that can be made when you're going to Lofoten Islands, Norway. And we hope these are helpful to you as you're planning your trip. If you've already been and you've made some of these mistakes, or you have any other mistakes, ideas, please comment below in the video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.